Hello and welcome to learning how to use Tracker to analyze your slow motion video. First thing you're going to do is launch Tracker. You can get it at computers 1 through 5 in the IRC, or you can download it yourself. Look on the website for the link to that free Tracker software. I am launching it right now. It's called a video analysis and modeling tool. And once it opens up, there we go. I'm going to maximize it here, get that big view. Now, you're going to probably have to watch this a couple times. It's kind of complicated. So I'm going to go up to here. Oh boy. Let me minimize this and make it big enough so we can see it the whole time. I'll go like that. Here we go. All right, file, import. I'm going to import my video that I've already slowed down. That was from the previous part. Mine is bestjump.mp4. It should have saved as an MP4 file. Now, if your file is too big, you need to shorten it up appropriately and import it that way, because it can't be too big or else the Tracker won't bring it in. So here we go. This is that video. I'll let that play out just to remind you of what it was. I showed this in class. This was me jumping. All right. So you can play it in Tracker. You've seen that before. So the first thing we need to do is change the clip setting. I'm going to change this to 120 frames per second. Right now it is at almost 24 frames per second because that's what normal video is. But no, we videoed in 120 frames per second. That's very important. Okay. The next thing you need to do is tell Tracker the distance of things. Now, you go up to this button, which is new calibration stick. And then, I don't know if you can see it here. I'm going to move it over here. This right here is 100 meters. Now that's obviously too long. You can tell I am not many hundreds of meters tall. Actually, I know that I am 1.82 meters tall. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to grab it in the middle. I'm going to put it at like my foot. I'm going to go up to the top of my head. And I'm going to click on that distance, and I know I am 1.82 meters tall. Having a little hard time. 1.82, enter. Now I'm going to move that out of the way. It doesn't need to be right there. I'm just going to move it over here. All right, so now the next part is to create, and this is where it gets a little difficult. Pay attention here. Create a new point mass. A new point mass. That's the thing that is going to follow me or whatever you're tracking and give you the data. So you say create a new point mass, and then that's going to pop up right here. And look at, you get that graph that you've seen before. So I'm going to rename that point mass. First of all, I'll click on it and I'll give it a new name. I'm going to call it shirt, because if you remember, that's what I'm going to track. And I'll just hit enter. And then I'm going to click back on here. Oops, click back on the shirt. And we're going to use this menu display here in a second. But first of all, let's let this play out a little bit. I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go up here and zoom in a little more. I'm going to zoom in even further. 200%? No, that's too much. I'm going to zoom in right there. Okay. I think I'm going to start my analysis right about here. I think I'll start my analysis here. So this is where it's kind of complicated. Let's go back over here, and I'm going to go to Auto Tracker. That Auto Tracker means it follows you. So now we've got this new dialog box. To create a new keyframe, Shift Control click the video feature of interest. So the video feature of interest is my shirt. I want to track that as I jump up and come back down. So I'm going to go Shift, Control. I gotta Shift, Control, and I'm gonna click on that section right there. And all of a sudden that's gonna pop up. Okay. Now I'm going to click on there and widen that. And notice how it's showing up here. See how that's that yellow area? Velocity. It might say it says velocity on my shirt. Okay. Now that circle there, it's going to follow that circle, whatever's in that in that picture. I'm going to also make this bigger because I'm going to jump up, and it's only going to follow it in that region. So I'm going to jump up here. So this red dashed box says, okay, follow it in this red dashed box region. All right, good. You've done. So that's what you have to do, and hopefully you can understand how to do that. Now, this is the coolest part. You hit start or search, and it's going to do it automatically for you. It automatically follows you. Okay, and as you can see over on the side, it's populating a position versus time graph. Okay, you can see there's an X right here, and there's a T right here. We're going to deal with that here in a second. But that's pretty darn cool. I'm going to let this populate. I'm going to pause my... ooh, we got a little blip there. That's interesting. I'm going to pause it, and I'll come back when it's all done because I want to save time on here. All right. Now, as you can see from the data that is populated on the side here, I've jumped all the way up and down. It took about a couple minutes. It's automatically tracked my shirt, and there's a lot of data here. Now, right now, it's an X versus T graph, and I'm going to want to change that because I want the Y. So don't be discouraged by the crazy graph that may show up. But it looks like I think I'll stop it here. I'll stop it here in a second. All right. All right, now you're going to hit stop, and like I just did. And so we are done with that track. That's what they call a track. I'm going to hit close on this. And you can play it again. I think I will play it again. And now it'll run much faster. It ran real slow before because it was actually finding the track. Now, if you have a hard time getting the track, if it falls off, you need to find a better place to track. This worked out pretty good. There was one little glitch, as you can see in my data. But it should stay. You need to pick one point, and hopefully the tracker can follow that one point all the way through. All right, good. And then it stops tracking. All right. So now this is the whole project right here. We want to analyze some of this real data. And so we're going to see how this data looks. You're going to all go to plot up here, and you're going to pick two. You want two plots. You want Y versus T plot if you're going in an up-down motion. If you're going in the horizontal motion, you'll want an X versus T plot. And then you want a velocity versus time plot. So there we go. I've got my Y versus time plot, and I've got my velocity in the Y versus time plot. I want both of those. And then I also ask that you click on this sync up here. So that puts this one with this one. The two are linked. Okay. All right. So now if you hit play, you can watch the data up here. You'll actually see when it starts, it's going to start right right now. There you go. That's my point. Now, those two little points, that's a shame that happened. I've done this before, and I don't know why those anomalies, those outliers came in. But that's acceptable. All right. Now, the shape of this curve is what you want to analyze. And I will talk about that in the next video. Okay.